Okay, so we've got our Wampserver software downloaded. So the next thing we want to do is we want to install it. The only real gotcha here is you have to make sure that you actually have an account that has administrator rights on your system. If you don't, it's not going to install. If you're running in Windows 7 or in Windows Vista, you're probably going to have to right-click on it and say Run As, and then select the administrator account. Or Run as Administrator, I think, is an option. Because this is XP and this particular user is set up as an administrator, that's not something I'm going to have to deal with. So the install is very straightforward. You just double-click on the Wampserver icon, you say Next, you closely read their user license agreement and accept it. When you go to install it, note that it tends to install to C:\\wamp. It's a perfect spot for it. If you want to put it somewhere else, you can. Just make sure you don't have any spaces in the directory structure that you're using, or some things can give you some headaches. It says it already exists, but we're going to install there anyway, because I had installed this earlier. We can decide if we want to have our quick launch icons or not. I'm not going to worry about it. We go through, we click on our install, and now we just wait for the install wizard to finish doing its thing. Once the install wizard is done, we'll have to go through the same process as we would for any other web server, because it'll be installed, but it won't be started. And because this is a WAMP setup, we're not going to worry about it starting by default anyway. So as we wait, should only take a few more minutes for the install to complete. The nicest thing about grabbing a package setup, regardless which of the packages that you pick for a WAMP install, is that your Apache, your PHP, and your MySQL will all function properly with each other. To do each of those separately, you can, but it can be tricky to have everything work the way that you want it to work. So, for especially if you're a beginner, it's much easier to do it this way. I generally like to just use this package for doing my development type work anyway, because I just find it's a lot quicker for me to work. And at this point, our installation is done. It's asking us some stuff about some SMTP and email. The defaults are good for right now. We will get to a point where we'll be able to change some of those, and we can decide if we want to launch it now or not. I am going to actually start it now, because then we can actually see how the server starts. By default, you can see that our server starts in our system tray, and all of a sudden it goes green. If we left click on the server, you'll see there's a couple of things that we have in our setup. We can start all services, stop all services, restart all services. We can also have a couple of debug things that are included, which is nice. This is actually fairly new to this particular product. We have MySQL that we can start, stop. We have Apache service that we can start or stop as well. And then we have our web folder. Because this is green now, that tells you that everything started. If I was to go and turn any one part of it off, so I'll just stop the Apache server part for a second, you'll see it'll go yellow. What yellow means is that some of the services are started, some of the services aren't. When I start that service again, after a couple of seconds, that will go green. Now, the only two services that we have starting, though, are MySQL and Apache. PHP, while it has settings and versions and extensions, it doesn't have a service, because it actually runs, for the most part, inside of the Apache configuration. For us to test out to see if the server worked, we just hit our local host from here and go up to local host. Our web server should, or our web browser should load fairly quickly, and we will see. And there we go. We will see that we have our server running. It tells us some information about our server. It also has this test folder. Now that test folder we'll see here. So you see I have this test folder. I'm just going to remove that test folder for a second. When I remove that test folder and I refresh, you see that I don't have any projects. So any projects that I want to make, because this is again designed to be kind of doing some local work on things. I create a folder called test folder. That's going to be the name of my project. If I create another folder case here, my folder, and I refresh again, you'll see that now I have two different projects. I have a test folder project and a my folder project, and I can do all kinds of web related stuff inside of those and have a full web server at my disposal while I'm doing my testing. This is one of the most ideal ways for you to be able to test JavaScript things that you'll ever find, because it doesn't always work properly locally off your system. Same with when you're trying to debug some CSS stuff. Things don't always work exactly right if you're referring to files as opposed to through the web interface. Anyway, that's going to do it for this particular clip, and we'll do some stuff on using our WAMP in offline and online modes, and with firewall configurations soon as well. So talk to you soon.